Pyramid pose. So the pyramid pose is a traditional yoga stretch, yoga pose. I have no idea what it's called in yoga. But we get into it like this. So it's a hamstring stretch primarily for the front leg. So if we set up with the left leg as the front leg, which means I'm going to step back with the right. So I want to make sure of a few things. So the front foot is the left foot. I want the left foot at 12 o'clock. The back foot is going to be somewhere in the region of 1 to 2 o'clock, okay, on the clock face. So depending on various things. Some of us might have it slightly more 1 o'clock, some of us might have it more 2 o'clock. But we want to try and have the heels on the same line. So as you see, as I step back, the heel is on the same line. It's not out here, it's certainly not behind me, it's on the same line. And like I said, it's at 1 or 2 o'clock. Now with the hips, because I've sent that foot over and out, my hips are kind of skewed off this way now. I want to make sure that they face 12 o'clock also. So that's going to turn that back foot in a little bit as we come square with the hips. From there then, all I want to do, there's various things you can do with your upper body, which we're not going to get into in this. We're just doing it primarily for a lower body stretch. We're just going to fold forwards over that front leg. And then we can either base on the thigh, base on the shin. We're not going to do anything on the knee. It's quite it's already locked out and in a pretty vulnerable position. But then we could also have another prop that we maybe base on. If we can reach the floor, we might just use the floor. But we've got various options for where to place the hands. And then all I'm going to look to do is, so I want to be dragging to this left hip, pulling it back, lengthening the leg that's at the front as I fall forward. So I'm driving that, see, almost like I'm trying to drag it back towards me. It's not going to move because of the traction on the floor, but that's the movement I'm putting into that hip as I fall forwards. If we don't get much out of that, I'm feeling quite a bit there, we could also look to lift the toes up off the floor. We could even prop that up on something to kind of take the option away of us doing it voluntarily. It's a forced flexed foot as opposed to an optional flexed foot. So you've got a few options there, and then obviously you would just set up exactly the same on the other side, pulling the right hip back this time, maybe lifting this foot up, maybe propping it. So that is the pyramid pose.